CX7. Now the CX7 has an older brother. It's called the CX9. The CX9 has one main difference from the CX7. It has a third or an extra row of seats. This is Mazda's crossover, although they don't seem to like to call it a crossover vehicle. It's morphed out of the RX-8, a sports car, into an urban passenger vehicle. Dennis?
You know, Nick makes a very good point with that. Yes, the soul of the RX-8 is embedded into every Mazda, and more importantly, the CX-7 gives the driver the ability to feel the sports car attitude of every Mazda, even wrapped in their urban crossover. Now, Mazda doesn't want to hear that word, or do they want to hear the word small sport utility, but this car is the recipient of great mechanics. Stealing from the parts bin from the Mazda Speed 6, their great, very underknown and underutilized sports sedan, this car has a lot of attributes going for it. We're going to look at those from the inside and from the out, but now let's start under the hood.
Underneath the hood of the 2008 Mazda CX-7 is not the best motor in its class, but this vehicle is great on performance and on braking, right, Dennis?
You're right, Nick. Now, don't let this little engine that could stand by and be whipped on too much. You know, this vehicle is very, very heavy. 3,900 pounds of Mazda mass and sheet metal. That's what hampers at 0 to 60 in quarter-mile times. Now, the other side of that coin is the braking and handling. Very precise, very true to its nature of being a sport in the sport utility handling. I like the way that it feels. It has great input in the steering wheel. It does feel truly like a sports car in a bigger body. Now, that bigger body came with that weight. Now, the one thing that Mazda did do is add great brakes. Twin piston ventilated brakes in the front and ventilated brakes in the back add up to the best braking in its class. For me, it's more about the overall feel. No, it's not a 0 to 60 burner. No, it doesn't go 155 miles an hour, but it does do this. It feels like a car in a big body. Well, for a long time, one of the best and well-known cars from Mazda was the GLC, the great little car. This is not little, but it is a great car. The styling cues are definitely there. It has some very sharp edges with some nice flowing lines throughout the vehicle. The thing that Mazda has done to set themselves apart from all the other sport utilities out there is this car has one thing: character. It has character in the looks, it has character in the style, and it follows through to the front end.
The front end looks very much like a Mazda RX-8, the RX-8 which has that sort of wide hood and the lumps on the side which they call shoulders. I'm not sure they really are, but also there's definition in this hood. The one thing I don't particularly like about the looks of this car is the CX-7 and the CX-9 look so alike in the front, you almost can't tell the difference. Well, let's take a look at the interior of the Mazda CX-7. The rear doors open to almost 90 degrees. There's plenty of space in the back, and the rear seats are slightly reclined, so the ride is very comfortable. There's not many electronics to write home about in the back, especially in this tester model, but it is a nice journey.
You know what, Nick, you're right, and it transposes into the front seat as well, and more importantly, the driver's seat. The strange thing is somehow Mazda was capable of taking the relationship to the controls and akin it to the RX-8. You feel like you're sitting in a sports car. Now, the nerve center is the great 9-speaker audio system. The heating and air conditioning controls, as well as those in the steering wheel, are very easy to manipulate and very easy to find. You don't have to go fumbling through a bunch of controls to find out how to turn up the AC. Again, it's about the drive in this vehicle. Whether you're out on a carvy road or you're just sitting in traffic, which I experienced both in this vehicle, you'll get what you want: a solid drive with a lot of excitement.
We've had a chance to look at the 2008 Mazda CX-7. Dennis, give me your 2 ups and 1 down.
Well, the first one's going to be easy. I think Mazda did exactly what they set out to do. They took the heart of a sports car and put it into a sport utility. I know I'm cheesily taking their lines from them, but you know what? It is what it is. It's a sports car with a lot of spunk, a little bit of extra weight, but you know what? Overall, that sports car feel really does come through. The other side is the enormous room on the inside. Even a guy my height, and I'm doing this on purpose to Nick to show that I'm about 6'2" and much bigger than Nick. But you know what? Both of us fit in the front seat, and more importantly, both of us fit in the back. My down, Nick, is going to be this: that overweight status of the vehicle. 3,900 plus pounds is too much for this vehicle. Now, you get weighty ride, great steering feel because of the weight, but if this car was 500 pounds lighter, 750 pounds lighter, it would not only be a great car with a great drive, it'd also be the fastest.
Now let me tell you, the magic of television doesn't really do it justice. The truth is, I'm 6'4" and Dennis is 8'9". Now, it does fit both of us in the front of this vehicle. Let me tell you about my 2 ups and 1 down. First of all, my up for this vehicle is the overall package that Mazda has delivered. I think this car is really great. Okay, it's not the best powered vehicle on the market, it's not the fastest vehicle on the market, but as a complete package, I have to tell you, Mazda, you've done a pretty good job on this, and I like the idea of having a vehicle that has a 3rd row, the CX9, but this one, very nice. My other up for this vehicle is something kind of strange, but I will tell you, it's Mazda thinking outside the box, and that is, on the seats at the front, they have this, I call it snakeskin strip in it. It's just something different. You don't see that in every car. They're thinking outside the box and they're trying to make the car a little more stylish. My down for this vehicle, and it's kind of a strange down, is the fact that the vehicle is actually kind of rough in the braking. And that is, if you're going at speeds and you brake, it brakes very fast, but it does wobble a little bit, and the vehicle does feel kind of heavy. That comes down to the body weight versus the engine size, but overall, I would say a big thumbs up for this vehicle.
2008 Mazda CX7 Grand Touring all-wheel drive comes standard with a 2.3-liter dual overhead cam, 16-valve, 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It has a standard vehicle price of $28,000 even and a very low as-tested price of $31,250. The city EPA miles per gallon rating is 16 and the highway miles per gallon EPA rating is 22.
Here are the guys that make miles around possible. The Russ Auto Group, Baxter Auto Parts, Northside Ford, Ray Reese Dealerships, 4-Wheel Parts Performance Center, Grand Prix Imports, and J. Lee's Auto Group. Thanks, guys.